This is the third in my series of blog posts on visiting the Wadsworth Atheneum. The introduction to this series about the Wadsworth family and the Atheneum is also on my website. There's a link to it in the blog post. There's also a link to the other posts in this series. This post and the next few are going to be on the Hudson River School and related American works. This one is called A View in the White Mountains. It's by Thomas Cole, and it was painted in 1827. The frame on this item is particularly lovely. I could almost have used that picture as the large illustration, but I forgot about adjusting my camera for museum lighting. It's tungsten lighting, so everything came out a little bit too yellowish, and we don't like that. As I said in the first post in this series, the founder of the Wadsworth Atheneum, Daniel Wadsworth, 1771 to 1848, was an amateur artist and architect, and more importantly for our story here, he was a patron of American artists. Among the first ones he befriended was Thomas Cole, an Englishman who moved to the U.S. in 1818. Largely self-taught as a painter, Cole specialized in the landscapes of the Catskills, where he lived beginning in 1825. Cole's home on the Hudson River in Catskill, New York is now a museum, and I intend to go visit that next year. Cole's exhibition of works at the American Academy of Fine Arts in 1826 drew the praise of well-known painter John Trumbull, who knew Daniel and his father Jeremiah Wadsworth from having painted their portrait way back in 1784. That was in my first post on the Wadsworth. Trumbull put Cole in touch with Daniel Wadsworth, who became Cole's patron. The year after Cole painted A View in the White Mountains, this piece, Wadsworth commissioned him to paint Wadsworth's own home, Montevideo. And again, the image of that is in the first post in this series. The Wadsworth Atheneum owns 13 paintings by Thomas Cole. Next up, another Thomas Cole, View on Lake Winnipesaukee, I don't know how to say that, 1828. According to the museum's label, Daniel Wadsworth introduced Thomas Cole to the White Mountain region of New Hampshire, and one of Wadsworth's own sketches inspired this painting by Cole. Aside from being an excellent artist in his own right, Cole is considered the founder of the Hudson River School, a loose association of painters who flourished from about 1825 to 1875. Other prominent members included Asher B. Durand, Jasper Francis Cropsey, and Frederick Edwin Church. Their usual subjects were the Hudson River Valley and the Catskill, Berkshire, and White Mountains. Often the paintings had subtle morals or literary implications. Cole's painting The Oxbow, which is one of my favorite paintings at the Metropolitan Museum, shows a cultivated area on one side and a wild area on the other, a commentary on changes that were occurring in the American landscape. The second generation of Hudson River School painters is often called the Luminists, but this particular work by Cole is quite luminous too, isn't it? Next up, Mount Etna from Taormina by Thomas Cole, 1843. During his second visit to Italy in 1841-42, Cole was struck by the juxtaposition of eternal, unchanging nature with the ruins of Roman civilization. This is the largest of at least 6 canvases that he painted of Mount Etna in Sicily. The theme of the passing of earthly glory is also elaborated in one of his most famous works, The Course of Empire, painted in 1836. It is a set of 5 paintings that are at the New York Historical Society. The Course of Empire shows one landscape transforming over 5 generations, changing from nearly untouched nature to the height of an empire and then to desolation. Next up, View of Quebec by Frederick Edwin Church, 1846. At Daniel Wadsworth's recommendation, Thomas Cole accepted Frederick Edwin Church as a student. Church's early work, such as this one, show a strong influence from Cole. I really like the composition of this, the way the trees curve in at the left and that bluff curves in at the right. And I still don't have the right terms to describe how frames improve paintings, but this one in its frame, there's just something about it. It's got more oomph. Along with John Frederick Kensett and Sanford Robinson Gifford, Church was part of the second generation of Hudson River School paintings, the ones who are often referred to as the Luminists, and you can certainly see that here. And our last piece for this week, another painting by Frederick Edwin Church, this one done in 1846. The full title is Reverend Thomas Hooker and Company Journeying Through the Wilderness from Plymouth to Hartford in 1636. This painting by Church still shows strong influence from his teacher Thomas Cole. It portrays Reverend Hooker and his flock trekking from Massachusetts to the site of Hartford, and they're presented in a way that's reminiscent of the way many artists show the Holy Family's journey to Egypt. The site of Hartford's first church, which was established by Reverend Hooker, is directly opposite the Wadsworth Atheneum. Now, religious pilgrimages don't generally interest me much, but this one is a bit different. Hooker, who was a Puritan leader in England, fled to the Massachusetts Bay Colony in the early 1630s. There he disagreed with the colony's rule that limited the right to vote only to men who had been admitted to a church after a detailed interrogation regarding their beliefs. Hooker disagreed, so he led dozens of followers about 100 miles west to the site of Hartford, the first settlement in what became the Connecticut colony. Hooker's sermons included such radical statements as, quote, "The foundation of authority is laid in the free consent of the people." That's in the 1630s. That is radical in the 1630s. In 1639, settlers of the neighboring towns of Hartford, Windsor, and Wethersfield adopted the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. It is arguably the first written constitution to create a government, and it was influential on the U.S. Constitution. That's why Connecticut's nickname is the Constitution State. Daniel Wadsworth died in 1848, so this painting was probably one of the last paintings by Church that he saw. It was done in 1846. Next week we'll have some more paintings of the Hudson River School. DianeDurantewriter.com has hundreds of posts on sculpture, painting, Central Park, and my other obsessions. To join my free Sunday recommendations email list, visit the URL that's on the screen or email me. And you can say, "Well done, Diane," or support my work and receive rewards by means of the tip jar on DianeDurantewriter.com. Thanks as always for listening.